Hi everyone, Charles from The Food People here. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. It's my great pleasure to welcome chef, writer and developer James Strawbridge. James is joining me today to talk about his sustainable living philosophy, the techniques to live, cook and eat in harmony with nature, the nuances of seasonal food sourcing and his love of outdoor cooking. In addition, he'll be discussing the UK food culture as it stands at the moment and his hopes for our future food system. So welcome, James. Thank you so much for joining me today as part of the Food People in Conversation with.
Lovely to be here, Charles. My philosophy tends to be very family focused.
Yeah.
And that also then leads on to things that are close to home. So local food, your local community, thinking about the plots and what you can grow yourself. So very much a little bit of a starting small, sort of in terms of my scope and the way I work, and then have a slight side which is a bit of a kitchen rebel. I like being disruptive, not for the sake of it, but I love innovation and I love change. So I think that's quite a key part of my philosophy. I've written a book on zero waste veg cooking out this September with DK. So I've got several examples. But say, for example, I've got peas. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow on peas. And you've got the shoots, obviously, garnish, very chefy. You've got the pod, you've got the leaves, the stems, and then obviously the sweet peas themselves. So there's all sorts of ways to use those different components. And I think, in terms of pods that are a bit tougher, and again, this I suppose ties into something we're going to hopefully chat about, but micro seasons. The networking, all in all, comes down to loads and loads of time spent traveling the Cornish coast and the county, meeting people. I try and work with a lot of those suppliers and producers to help develop recipes and do content, sort of recipe, photographs and things. But I think it's about an awareness of who's where and how to get hold of good ingredients. And then I try to rely on that for most of my food. Smoke is really interesting because, but not just, brisket, smoked mackerel, but smoking butter, using apple wood shavings to smoke scallops, smoking things that you don't necessarily associate with that smoky flavor, but if it's done subtly it can really enhance a dish. I think that's also great because it involves that fire. The greatest transformation with foods tends to come from fire. So smoke is one, and then another one would just be probably seasoning with fermented powders is another one.
Okay.
So I'll make some kimchi or some kraut, dehydrate it, blitz it up, and then use that as a seasoning. And it's just it's just lovely. It's like it's something people won't know what they're eating until you tell them. But it's a bit like would I describe myself as a hipster? I wouldn't necessarily, but I probably am. I think Flexitarian is a useful guide for people who are eating less meat and fish and thinking about their diets. But what I don't like about it is it somehow it says that I am, I'm flexible with the way I approach food, and I'm the opposite of that. I sort of am quite uncompromising with my choices. So my choices are all about higher welfare meats, wild fish caught off the Cornish coast, supporting local business that is responsible and regenerative with its farming. Lack of control, I'm experienced enough to be able to manage many types of fire and stove, and I've done vast amounts of outdoor cooking, but it's the unquantifiable lack of precision that you can get in a normal kitchen, where it opens up, therefore, like your timing is more fluid, your approach and the opportunity to add a little bit more, some wood chips that are going to release lovely volatile smoke compounds onto the food. The patience involved as well. You have to set your time thing and just chill and go with the fire, go with the process, rather than having this very human, I'm going to do this now in this order. You have to just take it a little bit more easy. Firstly, again, it's an unpopular one, but probably eat slightly less. It's kind
Yeah.
of lockdown belly. I sort of like, yeah, just eating a little smaller portions, I think, is one good thing. Next, plan your meals, and that means that you're able to manage your supplies in your kitchen, your fridge, your larder better, I think. Subscribe to a veg box or have weekly vegetables that are in season, because that dictates your meal planning slightly in order to be healthier and less reliant on processed food. And then zero waste approach, like in a nutshell, either compost or use the scraps in creative ways. So it's a really funny one, but your oven, when you turn on your oven, you use electricity. Now, I source our electricity from solar and renewables, but if and how your energy impacts on your cooking, if your oven is preheating, use it to start drying something, or heat your skillet in it so it gets up to temperature, or roast off some red peppers to use the next day for your pizza topping. And when your oven is finished, don't just turn it off. Use it almost like a hay box, where it's an insulated, warm space. So use that to, again, toast off some pine nuts or whatever it is for your next meal. So I think use your oven more intelligently is the only final thing I can think of here.
No. So do join our TFP community for the details of our latest In Conversation With episodes, as well as the latest free to access food and drink trends foresight. Visit thefoodpeople.co.uk and complete your details at the footer of the page. So on behalf of James and myself, thanks for listening to the Food People In Conversation With. I just leave you with one question, as always: how are you shifting the future of food and drink? Thanks for listening.